Hey everyone, today we're back at Homosassa Springs Wildlife State Park. Join me as we explore another incredible place to see one of my favorite Florida animals, manatees. Homosassa Springs is one of the most unique springs that I've ever been to. They are famous for their extensive wildlife park full of rescued animals, as well as the Fishbowl Observatory that sits right atop the main spring head. We're here on a chilly January morning, which is prime manatee season, so we're hoping to see some fantastic underwater views. We're here at Homosassa Springs to go and see the manatees. This is another really great location to see manatees in the wintertime here in Florida, so we're really excited to go and check out the park and show you what it's all about. We've been to Homosassa Springs before back in March of 2023, and we just missed out on seeing the manatees in the springs. So our primary goal for today is to see the manatees from the famous underwater fishbowl observatory, and then afterwards explore the wildlife park to see all of the animals while we're here. We arrived at the main entrance where you can receive a map and pay the entrance fee, which during our visit was $13 for adults and $5 for kids ages 6 to 10. Children 5 and under have free admission. This gives you entry to the park as well as access to the tram that takes you down the 0.75-mile Pepper Creek Trail to the wildlife park entrance. For an additional $3 for adults and $2 for kids, you can upgrade to the boat tour. The boat tour will take you from the visitor center to the wildlife park via Pepper Creek. Homosassa Springs has been a tourist attraction since the early 1900s. At the time, trains would stop to let passengers walk the trail to the spring while it got loaded with cargo. During this time, the park also operated as a place where animal actors could be trained for movies and TV series. But today, the park is owned by the state of Florida and operates as a sanctuary for animals who were unable to survive on their own in the wild. Once we arrived at the west entrance, we started to notice some significant changes from our last visit. Over the past year, apparently there's been significant damage all around the park from several different hurricanes. Some of the walkways were damaged, as well as some buildings, including the visitor center at the west entrance that was completely closed now. We continued on and immediately headed to the left along the Spring Loop Trail towards the manatees and the underwater observatory, and we could already start to see them congregating in the springs.
I see manatees.
I see manatees. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited.
Look at all them floaty potatoes. Look at that.
Wow. Quite a few manatees today, eh?
Right in front of the fishbowl.
Yeah, look at that. I'm so excited to go down there. But as we soon discovered, the observatory is also one of the buildings damaged from the hurricanes, and the underwater area was completely closed off. So usually you're able to go downstairs and see them underwater, but unfortunately there has been hurricane damage down there and you're not able to go down there any longer. So hopefully they're able to get that fixed sometime soon, and we're able to go and enjoy it again, because that's a really cool experience down there. As you can see from our footage in 2023, it's a really cool observatory down here where you can walk under the water and are completely surrounded by fish. It would have been so amazing to see the manatees up close from the fishbowl, but hopefully next year. There wasn't anything on the website about it being closed, so if you do decide to come here later in the year, you might want to give them a call to see if the underwater observatory is still closed before you make the trip out here. But thankfully, all was not lost, as you can still see the manatees from the walkways above water, and there was quite a herd of manatees in the spring area. During the winter months, the Florida Springs become a warm water haven for West Indian manatees. The water here stays at constant 72 degrees all year long, and since the manatees can't tolerate temperatures below 68 degrees for very long, every winter hundreds of manatees seek refuge in these warm waters. Homosassa Springs is a first magnitude spring, which means it's one of the largest and most powerful springs in Florida. And one of the unique features of Homosassa Head Springs is that the main vent flows from 3 points underground, and each vent has a different salt content and water quality. The 3 sources blend together in the basin of the spring before heading down the spring run and into Homosassa River. Because of this, Homosassa Spring is filled with a variety of saltwater and freshwater fish species. You think she's doing that to get her back warm? I see so many of them turn over. I wonder if they're okay, my belly's warm, now I'm gonna flip over and warm up my back now. Look at that one. Yeah. Oh.
More manatees this way.
After seeing the manatees, we continued along the Springs Loop Trail. The Springs Loop Trail circles around the main spring head and crosses over the Homosassa River. This is where we saw even more manatees entering towards the springs. We just came across more manatees as we were crossing the bridge. Look at that. Gosh, they're so beautiful. Yeah, eating breakfast or lunch. Nom 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 nom.
They're coming in.
Oh, look, there's more manatees on their way into the spring to get warm.
It's too cold out there.
It's too cold. Yep. Way too cold. Next, we came across the Manatee Care Center, where injured manatees are taken in and rehabilitated until they're ready to be released back into the wild. There's one over here. He's ready to get out. He is ready to get out. There he is. You can probably see him better now. Oh, turning around. Oh, hello. Oh, look at the belly. Oh, he did a little trick for us. Oh my goodness, you can see all of his scars from, looks like he got hit by a boat or something on his back. Looks pretty deep from what I can see here. Oh, bless. So in addition to the manatees, they also have a ton of animals that you can see that they take care of all throughout the park. So we're gonna go and check them out. On the other side of the park is the Wildlife Walk Trail. This trail is a big loop where you can see all the wildlife that call Homosassa Springs home. All of the animals here, for one reason or another, are unable to survive on their own in the wild, so they live here under the care of the park ambassadors. One of the first animals that you'll see on the wildlife walk is the park's most famous resident, Lou the hippo. Lou is the oldest hippo in captivity in the world at 65 years old. He was born in the San Diego Zoo in 1960 and moved to Homosassa Spring in 1964. He was one of the Ivan Tors animal actors and starred in a few Hollywood films and TV shows. In 1989, Lou was made an honorary citizen of the state of Florida and has remained here ever since. Here's the famous Lou. Oh look, oh, squirrel.
Lou the squirt. Oh, no. Wrong critter.
During our visit, Lou was about to celebrate his 65th birthday on January 21st.
Lou's 65 years old now.
Honorary citizen of Florida.
Says hippos live 40 to 50 years in the wild, can live up to 60. He's 65 now.
Also along the wildlife walk, you'll be able to see some beautiful white-tailed deer on the deer overlook, and some scaly reptiles in the Reptile House.
Venomous reptile.
This room contains a bunch of snakes that are native to Florida, and in here you can also find a few rattlesnakes as well as a cottonmouth. He's gigantic. There's a ton of pelicans and other birds that hang out here on Pelican Island.
feathers.
And of course, you'll find Florida's most famous animal here, the alligator.
Really see you with all of the greenery around.
In addition to the gators, not everyone knows that Florida is also the home to a few large land carnivores, including the Florida panther. And here you can see a pair of panthers, Yuma and Sakata. Yuma and Sakata were abandoned as kittens and rescued and raised by humans. Since they've never learned how to hunt on their own, they are unable to be released in the wild. Since both of the panthers are male, they are rotated daily in the exhibit and can naturally be territorial. Florida is also home to black bears, and here lives Maximus the bear. Maximus was born in the wild in February 2019 and was abandoned by his mother for unknown reasons. He was 4 pounds when he was rescued, and despite the best efforts of his caregivers, he imprinted on humans and is now unreleasable. After Maximus are the birds of prey, where you could see crested caracaras, red-tailed hawks, several different owls, and even some bald eagles. Next are the 2 Florida foxes, Glory the gray fox and Swiper the red fox. These foxes were illegally removed from the wild by people who wanted to keep them as pets. And like so many other animals in the sanctuary, never learned how to survive on their own. Last but not least are Jester and Rose the red wolves. These 2 wolves were born in captivity as part of a program to help protect endangered and threatened species. Through captive breeding programs, they were hoping to build a healthy and genetically diverse population. If you are planning on visiting Homosassa Springs, here are a few things to keep in mind. If you do want to see the manatees, the best time of year is during the winter between December and February when the temperature drops. The best time to catch more manatees in the spring is when the weather dips below 60 degrees. It usually takes a day or 2 for the water temps to catch up with the air temps, so you can expect more manatees to flock to the springs about a day after the temperature drops. During our visit in January 2025, the Fishable Observatory was still closed due to hurricane damage. If you are visiting later in the year or even in 2026 or later, you may want to give them a call before making a trip out here to see if the observatory is still closed. The website didn't seem to keep that information up to date. There's also occasional manatee educational chats that happen a few times during the day, and you should see the times posted on a sign as you walk into the park. If you found any of this information helpful, I would love it if you would hit that like button and subscribe if you would love to discover more incredible things to do in Florida and beyond. I create a new video every week, and the best way to be able to see them is by subscribing. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to my channel members. You help keep this channel going, and we couldn't appreciate you more. If you would like to help support what we do here and get exclusive emotes, early access to our videos, and more, click the link in the video description for more details. If you would like to find even more beautiful springs to explore in Florida, then you're in luck, because I've got an entire playlist for you that just popped up on the screen. In this playlist, I'm going to go over a number of incredible springs you won't want to miss. Until next time.